Welcome to another edition of Fireside Chats. I'm Bill, the Executive Director at Woodcrest, connecting with our legacy builders. Today we are with Mahlon and Rozanne Zimmerman, whose history at Woodcrest goes way back and have been so instrumental in many areas. And so I'm delighted to meet with both of you this morning and to hear your stories.
Pavilion above the pool, was that Cedar?
Oakshade.
Oakshade, I forgot the names, okay, Oakshade. And they just had a little bit of a kitchen in the rough. We had my one son was asking me about it, he remembers that. It was, let's see, a stove, a refrigerator, and a few cabinets.
Okay.
And maybe a few kettles. I know I was taking my kettles and my things along most of the time. And they gave us a menu, that's what we all share. I mean, somebody put it together and we all had the same menu to go by, and we had different days. Some went this day and some went that day, the women, and so we did the meals. Then later on there were three of us that had the meals, three ladies, and the one came up with, I think, the hobo lunch thing.
Okay, which we still do.
And we still do that. And that was fun. We would pack this stuff for the kids, and then they'd go, they had this for them to go and sit down somewhere and eat these lunches. So that was fun. So then of course later on we started the Exhilarate. Susie Root was instigator of that, and then we had pretty many ladies that came in at the beginning. Yeah.
So so you were involved then pretty much. So Elvin started in '69 was the first day camp.
Okay.
You were pretty much involved from
In the 70s, I'd say.
70s.
Yeah.
Okay.
Late, yeah.
Well, the first couple of years, Elvin had that out of the church. They didn't have it at Woodcrest.
Okay.
First couple of years.
So you guys were connected then with Effort and Mennonite Church as well.
Yeah.
That was your connection.
Yeah, a lot of the men in the Sunday school classes, the one that originally purchased the first part of the land.
Yeah.
And then when the highway went through, it cut our entrance off.
Okay.
And the state gave us another entrance, came down at Ramestone.
Okay.
And that was just a goat path. It was a mess. And then we put the road in where it's at now.
Okay.
And took a lot of, we had, Hoover was, what was Hoover's name? That was on the board with us.
Curvin?
Huh?
Curvin Hoover? I know.
No, not
No?
Kerwin.
Okay.
He was an older guy.
Okay.
He was on the township for years.
Okay.
And he said, when we start all those buildings that we put in there, we didn't have permits for any of them. I didn't know that until the other day, but he was on the township.
Okay.
And he said, stay away from the township. You tell me what you want to do and I'll take the paperwork and get it done.
Wow.
Well, he must have had a good old buddy because they never got permits. And
That can't happen these days.
no, and I didn't know it until later that I guess the township come up and they said, well, we don't have these on our record. Well, no, there wasn't anything on.
Yeah, we're dealing with that now because we're working on the tax rolls.
Yeah.
But, so when you guys got involved in the '70s, it would have been what, Oakshade Pavilion?
That's right.
Was Cedar Lane up there?
Well, we built the oak shed, the big building.
That's Oakshade.
That was the first one. We
Okay.
built. See, there was those restrooms. Those were original. They were there.
Okay.
That part of the land, there was a mobile home park owned by Whitmer.
Okay.
And those restrooms was a little building there. And when we built that building, we built around that.
Okay.
It's the same restrooms that were there when
Wow.
we bought it. And we bought that land off of Whitmer because the road took half of his ground and he didn't have anything to do anymore.
Okay.
I mean, didn't have enough to run a So that's when we bought that from them.
Okay.
And the restrooms came with that.
Okay.
So when we built the bigger pavilion, we built around that.
Okay.
The doors and everything are the original ones. Those were outside doors.
Okay.
And we just left that there. And matter of fact, I think the original roof is still up on top of that. We put a roof over a roof.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, so Effort and Mennonite purchased the land. What was their thought? What did they want? Was it just to buy a place to go and have picnics, or was there always a vision for something more?
Well, that's what it was. Men's Sunday school class bought it,
Okay.
and Mahlon Stauffer. They had Stauffer furniture. Sensic had spring blend kitchens,
Okay.
and
Landis Weaver.
as we were had a couple pretty good businessmen in
Yeah.
there that, and then there was no plans for how we're going to get and Ellen was started the day camp. First couple of years, I think you had them at the church,
Okay.
and then I said, need to bring that up to Woodcrest.
Yeah, we in the earlier days we would have had some sales. I went to sales and had food and sold food at the sales and made money. Let's see. Then we started up in Woodcrest with our doing things up there, and we made peanut clusters.
Peanut clusters.
We
Yeah.
made ham and cheese sandwiches, and we made we sold ham loaf. That's the kind of work we did.
Okay.
Yeah. And there's a group of us. We had a nice group that worked together, and I'd say about 5-6 of us. It was,
Yeah.
you know. And we meet here. We all met at my house because it's kind of in the middle. So
Okay.
they met here for meetings, and we
Okay.
discussed what we want to do for meals, this or that, or if we're going to have the sweetheart banquet or what we're doing. But we also helped when they were playing golf. They came back to the Woodcrest or Indian Rock, and then we would have a meal for them.
Okay.
Oftentimes with pulled pork and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
For Big John.
Yeah. Okay.
And but now they do it up at Fox Chase.
And we pay a lot more money for it, didn't they?
Yeah, I'm sure you do. So we did all that kind of stuff. I'm trying to think what else.
Well, I mean, I know because there was the Sweetheart Banquet, there was the Senior Citizens Days,
We did that, yes.
Ladies' Night Out. Those were all. Food was all, and serving was done by the Ladies Auxiliary.
Usually, yes.
Okay.
Not for ladies' night out though. They had some
Okay.
other people do
Okay.
that, but we had done other things. We had done quite a few things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whenever there was something, accordingly, we would be there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we helped with the stain at Journey to Bethlehem.
Okay.
They were forbidden. They thought maybe when people had a wait time,
Yeah.
they thought maybe they want some food. So we
Right.
had a little trailer with food.
Okay.
Do the food from there, and we sold some food.
Over. I had a new pickup I got. I said, I told the guy there, you take this thing, and that sauce is hot, you bring it over to us, because we were barbecuing. So he come over and he said, I said, you got the sauce? Yeah. I said, where is it? It's in the truck. Well, I said, well, go get it. I need it for the chicken. He said, I can't. I said, what do you mean you can't? He said, we spilled it coming over. He spilled the whole 5-gallon
Bucket of the sauce.
in the back of my truck. It was a new truck. I had to pray for the Lord to help me hold my anger. And we got through it all right.
You went and washed it out at the car wash, didn't you?
Huh?
You went and washed it out at the car wash.
Yeah.
What'd you do for the chicken, though?
Well, the chicken was all right. But
Okay.
I guess I forget what we did because he spilled it all, but he didn't want to tell me. So
Well, it was technically in the back of the truck.
yeah, he said it's in the truck.
I smelled good for a while.
Well, I can't. I said, why can't you? Well, he said, I spilled a little bit. Well, I said, get the rest of it. We're going to use it. I can. He said, it's all in the truck.
So, Mahlon, you hold the distinction. I mean, if there's people who are associated with Woodcrest, it's Cliff and Carol. And Cliff shared the story that, how you introduced him, got him connected, and then you took this step of faith and said, I'm going to hire you 1 day a week. You hired him out of your personal business. Why? What led you to do that?
Well, we didn't have any money. I knew when I got involved there, we needed somebody that was there full time. I knew we had a lot to do ahead of it, but we had a lot of work to do. And the only way I could do is if a lot of the stuff we paid in the beginning, because they didn't have the money.
Right.
And the ladies auxiliary help, they got a lot of money coming in. And the barbecues, we used to do 1 or 2 a month.
Okay.
Cliff went to our church and he seemed to be, when I knew of him, he seemed to be aggressive and
Yeah.
I didn't need to train him anything. If I told him what we wanted, he'd carry through with it.
Okay.
Cliff did that a lot for that camp.
They want to know why you decided to pay Cliff and have him on our payroll.
Well, Cliff, he had a job that he worked 3 days a week, I think it was.
Okay.
Stood on market with
That's
then he had 2 other days he'd be looking for something to do. So I started with 1 day and the next took 2 days, and then next we took him on full time because it started mushrooming.
Yeah. Well, and he told the story about how you approached the board and said, I'm done paying for him, it's your turn to pay for him. Love it.
Yeah, in the beginning, I didn't have anybody to make the decisions, so a lot of the things I just did on my own because we didn't have the body even in place for a board,
Yeah. So, what were some of the obstacles you saw as really behind the scenes, getting a lot of things happening? What were some of the challenges early on to get Woodcrest moving?
Like we got going with the auxiliary, and so with that, we could help the camp. Like I said, we gave the money back to sell our golf carts.
Right.
And so I bought one. That's from the auxiliary, and then we gave it to the camp, and they used it a lot. And then Cliff said, "I'm going to get some more," and he said, "If you don't mind, I'm going to do it." I said, "That's fine with me." And he went and got different times. He got some, and I think they liked them from what I know.
Yeah, oh yeah, they're still very much a part of Woodcrest. Yeah, probably the same ones too.
And well, then we started having meals too, and then that way. We could get more money like that too, and people like being the senior citizens. I think maybe it was Cliff's idea, senior citizens, and in the fall, spring and the fall, and they seemed to really like that. And they had good speakers usually, and activities, and it went fine. And I kept us busy with having the meal, but we enjoyed it. We had a good group, and
Is there one moment in the history of Woodcrest that it was uphill, and you finally got to the top, and it just was like, that was it, that's what we needed? Was there that event, that time?
A lot of it came in steps like that, but
Okay.
just like when they changed our driveway and we put the one in that's in there now.
Yeah.
We really had a bite the bullet in there I got that we had 3 stone quarries around us there.
Okay.
And I went to them for donations. We got about 1,000 tons of stone donated. And then I went back and forth. I'd say, well, so-and-so, they're going to donate a couple hundred tons, you know, and this here, and that's the way they did. And then I made a deal with them that they didn't need to spread them. We'll have the road cut in, the road that we have now.
Right.
And you just bring your truck in at the end of the day. If you have, they have some short runs sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
You got a short run, you bring a load of stone up, you just dump them, and we'll grade them. So we kept, they, all told, we put about 1,000 ton in there. It didn't cost us a penny.
Looking back over almost 65 years of Woodcrest history, what do you look at and say, that's what excites me, that's what, you know, that's what Woodcrest is about, or that's what I remember?
I'd say Cliff should get a lot more credit than what he really did.
Boy, it's great to see all the children that are coming now. I mean, we saw small amounts in the beginning, and now I can hardly believe that it grew, and I think it's wonderful. I really think a lot of children learn to accept the Lord at camp, and I'm just glad to see that we're having so many. And I think today that we need camps like this. Kids are not being taught the things they should be taught at home, and they don't have good home lives, and so something like this is what they need to.
Well, and our passion is still the same. I know Elvin went around to the trailer parks to get people who couldn't afford it, and that's still our heart and passion.
Mm-hmm.
Keep camp affordable. We have a scholarship fund that makes it happen.
That's great.
Words to the next generation that's coming up. Words of encouragement, words of charge, whatever you want to call it. What would you say to those who are coming next, who are inheriting a legacy that you guys have built?
Just keep plugging on. I mean, things can get better, and I see things happening. I would think sometimes there'll be a lodge there and places for people to stay, and there's a lot that can be done yet to camp, and he liked it. Yeah. All our kids did. All our kids that went liked it. My daughter was a counselor for a bit when she was 16 or whatever.
Yeah.
So we were kind of involved all around. Yeah.
Well, you've had your son was on the board, wasn't he?
Jeff.
Yeah. So they've carried that mantle, that torch as well, and followed through.
You're right. And then he put in that pool.
Okay.
He did the pool,
which was huge help for programming.
It is.
Yeah, we keep on moving forward.
That's good.
Building off of what you guys, the foundation you've laid. So, as a person who sits in that chair now, thank you guys. Thank you for Effort of Mennonite Church. Thank you for, having the vision to bring Cliff on and supporting him and all that he's done. It's a joy to serve. So on behalf of all that are a part of Woodcrest now, the 2,000 kids that are going to be there this summer, thank you.
Is that right, bud?
Thank you for doing that. Thank you for being faithful to God, for being willing to take faith-filled risks and do what he needed done to see Woodcrest become what it is today.
That's right.
So, can I pray for you guys?
Sure.
All right. Father, I thank you for Mahlon and Rozanne. I thank you for just how you've gifted them and used them over the years, how you placed them at just such the time that you needed them at Woodcrest to be the voice, to be the people that moved things forward. May your blessing be upon them and their family. May they be a rich heritage because of their faithfulness and their love for you. And may you fill them with your joy and your spirit, for we ask it in Christ's name. Amen.
And we're glad you're there now.
Oh, thank you.